Attention passionate Kansas City CHIFS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Kansas City Chiefs' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Kansas City Chiefs fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Kansas City CHIFS FANS. Let's get to the news. Now guys, if you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you've noticed a lot of shifting sands, especially when it comes to teams that are trying to find their footing after some tough seasons. And trust me, the Kansas City Chiefs, as usual, are sitting pretty at the top of that conversation. But the NFL is a league of constant change, and even the best teams have to stay alert, adapt, and sometimes make bold moves that could shape their future for years to come. So today we're diving deep into a story that's been buzzing around the NFL circles, especially among Chiefs fans. It's about the New Orleans Saints, a team that after a rough 2023 season finishing 5-12 might be heading into a bit of a rebuild or at least some serious roster reshuffling. The Saints, as many of you know, have been a team with a proud history, especially on the offensive side, with Drew Brees once leading them to glory and a Super Bowl victory. But now, with Derek Carr retiring after that tough season, they're in a bit of a limbo trying to figure out their next move. And it's not just about losing a veteran quarterback. The Saints are facing a myriad of challenges. Their salary cap situation is disastrous, which means they're limited in what they can do in free agency or trades. They've signed a few free agents here and there, but nothing that screams contender right now. And with a first-time head coach in Kellen Moore, who's stepping into a role that's always demanding, especially when you're inheriting a roster that's got holes on both sides of the ball, the outlook isn't exactly promising. Yet despite all of this, the Saints' front office has shown a stubborn resolve. They're sticking to their guns, trying to patch things up with limited resources rather than blowing it all up and rebuilding from scratch. It's a bold strategy, and some analysts believe it might be a mistake. The NFL world is divided on whether the Saints should double down and try to compete or start selling parts to build for the future. And that's where the intriguing part comes in. One name that's been thrown into the mix, especially in the context of potential roster moves, is safety Tyrann. Now, for those of you who might not remember, Mathieu is a player who's made a huge impact in the NFL, especially during his time with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the kind of veteran presence that can be a game changer, a leader on the field, and someone who can make those crucial plays in big moments. But the question now is, could the Saints possibly move him? And if they do, would the Chiefs be interested? The answer to that might surprise you, so let's explore it in detail. First, a bit of context about Mathieu's recent performance. Last season with the Saints, he proved that he's still got plenty of tread left on the tires. At 33 years old, he played all 17 games, racking up 3 interceptions, defending 7 passes, and making 62 total tackles. That's a solid stat line for a safety of his age, and it shows that he's still a reliable, versatile player. And being on an expiring contract makes him an attractive target for teams looking for a veteran upgrade without giving up a huge draft capital investment. Now, why would the Saints consider moving him? Well, as Anthony Palacios from Last Word on Sports pointed out, with the team's current rebuild mode, they could be looking to cut costs and shed veteran contracts to rebuild through the draft and younger players. Mathieu's contract being on the last year makes him an easy trade chip. And if the Saints decide they're not in a position to compete in 2025, trading away a veteran like Mathieu makes sense. They can recoup some draft capital and focus on developing their young players. But here's the twist that gets Chiefs fans really excited. The Kansas City Chiefs, as many of you know, lost Justin Reed this offseason. Reed was a key piece in their secondary, and his departure left a bit of a gap that needs filling. Their current safety group includes Brian Cook and Jalen Watson, but the overall experience and leadership in the secondary could definitely benefit from a seasoned veteran. Mathieu could be that veteran presence, the kind of player who not only makes plays but also mentors the younger guys, reinforces the team's football IQ, and helps keep the entire defense organized. Just think about it, Mathieu returning to Kansas City, where he's already etched his name in Chiefs history by winning a Super Bowl ring, would be a storybook ending for him and a smart move for the Chiefs. He knows the system, the city, the fans, and most importantly, the culture of winning that's been ingrained in him since his time here. Plus, adding a player of his caliber at this stage of his career could give the Chiefs a boost in their quest for back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. And let's not forget, the Chiefs' front office has shown they're not afraid to make bold moves. We saw that last season with the trade for Kadarius Toney, the signing of players like Chris Jones, and of course, Patrick Mahomes leading the charge. They're always looking for that edge, that extra piece that can make the difference in close games and playoff moments. Mathieu, with his versatility, leadership, and playoff experience, could be that piece once again. Now, it's important to mention that such a move wouldn't come without its questions. Moving Mathieu at this stage could be seen as an admission that the Saints aren't aiming for a playoff run in 2025. They might be looking at a full rebuild, focusing on the future rather than the immediate present. And for the Chiefs, acquiring Mathieu would mean making a calculated gamble, investing in a player who's aging but still highly effective. The decision would hinge on whether the Chiefs' front office believes they can get another playoff-level performance from him and whether they're willing to pay a reasonable price in draft picks or conditional compensation. But here's the thing, when you look at the Chiefs' roster, their team culture, and their recent success, it's clear that they value veteran leadership and experience. Mathieu embodies those qualities perfectly. His familiarity with the Kansas City system would allow him to slot in quickly, and his presence could be a stabilizer in a secondary that's still growing and adjusting. Plus, his ability to make game-changing plays in critical moments is something the Chiefs have relied on in the past, especially in their Super Bowl runs. And we should also consider the broader implications of such a trade in the NFL landscape. If the Saints decide to sell off parts of their roster, especially veteran players like Mathieu, it signals a shift in their strategy. It's a clear sign they're prioritizing the future over trying to squeeze out one last playoff run. For the Chiefs, this creates an opportunity to swoop in and acquire a proven winner, someone who's been there, done that, and can bring that winning mentality back to Kansas City. This kind of move also sparks conversations about the importance of veteran leadership in today's NFL. The game has become more youth-oriented, but players like Mathieu prove that experience, football IQ, and leadership are still vital. They can be the difference in key moments, especially in the playoffs, where mental toughness and situational awareness often decide the outcome. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Do you think the Chiefs should pursue Tyrann Mathieu if he's available? Would that be a game changer for their secondary and overall defense? Or do you believe they should stick with their current young core and focus on developing their own talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much to us and to the future of this team. And finally, remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, more insights, and all the latest news about the Kansas City Chiefs. We're in an exciting period of NFL history, and the Chiefs are always at the center of it. Whether it's trades, draft picks, or game analysis, I'll be here to keep you informed and engaged. So stay tuned, keep that passion alive, and let's keep pushing forward together as the best Chiefs family on YouTube. Thanks for listening, and until next time, let's go Chiefs.